I can hear me. How you guys doing?
I'm tired, but I'm good to go.
All right. So we have a new guest, or really our first guest ever on the show. This is May. May, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Awesome.
First official, at least. We've had people walk in before, but
we technically we haven't, because I 1984'd that and just removed the existence of it. So there's no evidence of them existing.
Just kidding.
Thus, they do not exist. It's okay. I'll just 1984 this bit too. That's the power of editing. If I was ever in charge of like a history class, I'd probably do that. I'd tell my kids like,
you just completely screw with their heads.
Yeah, I'd say this part just didn't happen. I don't know why we talk about it.
And just pretend like huge moments in history just didn't happen at all.
Right.
So then they go and ask their parents, and their parents are like, no, this does exist. And they'll be like, no, but my teacher said it doesn't.
Which you can actually do right now, which is really fun because at least in the South, I don't know how it is up here, but I think I've told Keith this before. We got history books, the newest editions, like they came out that year, and the Vietnam War was not in it. So the war just didn't happen, apparently, according to the new book.
I thought you were going to talk about like the Civil War and stuff.
Oh,
you've always heard that stuff of like the War of Northern. It's called the War of Northern Aggression in the South.
It is called that in some parts of the South. Other people will call it by that. But the books say Civil War, which is the most. It's just such a poor name for a war. I mean, it's kind of like calling, like, the Cold War makes sense because they weren't using any weapons, but you could almost call a Cold War a civil war because no one fights. It's just everyone's just really mad at each other. It's very civil. But the actual Civil War was the deadliest, I think the deadliest American war in history or something like that.
Well, yeah, just American, yeah.
I don't want to say other countries because I'm not sure about other countries. I don't learn their history.
Yeah, something slightly off topic, but sort of related to the South. When I was taking my train home, one of the guys that was sitting next to me and was talking to me for a bit was some like older guy, and he said he was from somewhere near the Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia.
All right,
that's where he was from, and I was like, oh hey, I have a friend from Georgia at school. I never got his name either. It was really weird.
I'm not gonna know him.
I wasn't assuming that, but it was just he was talking to me a lot and just saying a bunch of things, asking about school and stuff. We were kind of talking here and there, and then when it was like his stop, he just kind of like got up and left, and I was like, "Bye, you."
All right. Yeah.
Sorry. So.
I do know that you mentioned that you I sent something in the group chat about, I don't even know what it's, something to deal with sex, and you responded, I helped a guy on the bus get laid.
Yeah, that was also part of this. Well, one of the guys that was sitting with him, because I guess they both had phone, but both of their phones were dead, and then they tried. There was like an outlet. There was like one outlet there on the trip, but like they had the wrong charger. So then they're asking me if I had a charger for their phone, but I had my iPhone one, so it wouldn't work for them. So one of the guys asked me to borrow my phone to make a phone call real quick, and I was like, okay. So at first he's on the phone with like he's talking to his mom or something and asking about like picking him up from the train station. So I was like, okay. And then he went and like called someone else, and then I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to that call, but once he was done and he hung up and like handed me my phone back, and he's like, "You just helped me get laid," and like holds up his hand for a high five. So I high fived him, and I was really confused.
Okay,
slightly worried.
Slightly worried. Have you tried calling that number back?
I went and looked at the number, but I was like, I'm not going to call that number.
I feel like we should call that number on the show and be like, "Hi, we helped you get laid." So I was looking through my book that contains all the information that there is
that
to know.
That needs to be known. Yes.
And there's a question in here. I think it's pretty good. What did you do that made going to prison worth it? So the question. So basically, you are going to prison for committing a crime, but what did you do? Where even though you're in prison, you're like, no, that was totally worth it. That was worth getting entrapped in this giant prison.
Well, there's a lot of stuff of people who like someone kills like members of their family or something, and they go and kill them back. So then they're in there, and they sometimes feel redeemed, sometimes not.
So you're referencing a Lifetime movie.
I'm referencing a TV show and real life.
Okay. May,
real life, it happens, I think, too. So
May, what did you do to make going to prison worth it?
Honestly, I don't want to go to prison. So.
But there's something you could do where you're like, you know what? Even though I'm in prison, what I did was worth it.
I feel like a lot of people seeking revenge, or like some maybe like political figure that did something to their families or whatnot.
So okay, both of you guys just want to get revenge. That sounds like you guys have some pent up aggression or
that's
something.
just one of those things that makes the most sense of the like, unless it was like some small time thing of you stole some like candy or something once, so you're like, this is good. Like you had your you spend like a night or two in prison, but you're like, I got this. So it's like wasn't totally bad. So
I'd say, I guess it depends on how long you'll be in prison, like you were saying. Because like if I'm going to prison for a day for doing something, I'd say stealing an airplane. That'd be pretty worth it.
I feel like
just
you'd
spend
go
a day
away for more than a day for stealing an airplane. They don't like people messing with planes.
That is true. No, I mean not like if anything. Now, if I stole a United Airlines plane, then I might get away with it because no one likes them right now. This podcast is officially dated. How do you guys feel about that? I haven't seen the whole video. I just seen the clip of the guy getting beat up.
I mean, that's most of what I've seen too, but
yeah.
Of what I know, he's claiming that there was like a racist act. But if you think about it, he was already sitting on the plane. He had already purchased it. He had a right to be there.
Yeah, because it's one of the things like a lot of people are talking about. Like if this was happening, say at the gate or something, people would probably be more reluctant to get. So that's why they're trying.
Yeah.
Like as they're boarding, the gate people can offer them however much to
get off the plane,
like not come on the plane, so they can get other people. But like once you're on the plane, it's a lot harder to get people up and out of their seats, back through the tunnel into the thing, and leave, rather than just from the gate. Yeah,
it's just. I don't get what United Airlines was saying. Now, they came out with a statement saying that it wasn't their fault, that it was actually like a because, since airlines make no money at all, they all have to share with each other, basically, which is a really strange and interesting business model. I really feel like someone should go like do a study on that, the psychology of the airlines, because they can't make money unless they help the other airlines make money, because no one will have any planes, which is really funny. But yeah, so they said like it was like another actual company was using their plane, and they're the ones who beat up the passenger.
Well, yeah, it was also a thing of the security-wise or whatever, because like airplanes don't necessarily have their own like security guards on the plane, so they call like whoever, airport security or local police or something to come on. So then they say like, we called the police, so we were supposed to talk. Like they did what they like. It sounded like from what it was is like the guy was being unruly enough that like the next course of action was for them to like call the police to get them to escort the guy out.
Yeah.
Then the police took it to a different level, but so the airlines is like, well, we like this was what we were supposed to do. We called the police because this guy was being unruly and wasn't leaving, whether or not he was supposed to be or not. Like,
but then the thing is, I don't know, because nobody reads the contracts that you sign when you buy tickets, because it's like, I want to go here, I don't care what the conditions are, just let me get on the plane and leave. So maybe it's in the contract that like the airline has the right to kick you off the plane at any moment. But then at the same point, it's like, why is that in the contract? It's like the dude bought a ticket, you sold him a ticket to a full seat. That's completely your fault. All he did was ask to be on the plane, and you said yes, and then you're like, okay, never mind, get off. It's just
it's one of the things that a bunch of people were talking about. Like that, it's like you wonder why like once the people like security started showing up and like started doing so, like that, no one else like volunteered to get off like in the meantime.
I mean, that's why it was overbooked. Yeah, cause everyone wanted to go.
Yeah, because I guess everyone wanted to go like really badly because they were offering like $800 or something.
Oh my god, I would have gotten off.
Yeah, if you weren't doing anything pertinent when you're getting right back, it's
true.
Like, sure, I'll take $800 for this flight that probably costed $200 or $300.
And then they would probably give you like another free flight because you already spent the money. So
I'm not sure exactly how that, but I mean,
makes
the $800
sense.
would buy your ticket back and with an extra however much to spare.
Yeah, but yeah, cops are overworked. We need either more cops or we need different cops because there was a man in Georgia. His race doesn't matter, but we all know what race he was. And he got pulled over for speeding. It doesn't matter if he was or wasn't. He gets out of the car and the cop just elbows him in the face to get him to turn around so that he can put him in handcuffs. Then he throws him to the ground in the street on the middle of a highway. And his partner gets out of the car and stomps on his face and breaks his nose. Now, someone has pulled over to the side of the road, has caught all of this on camera from beginning to end. The man has done nothing. He might have said something, but his hands are already up when he gets out of the car, so he's not reaching for anything. Cop just elbows him in the face.
Yeah, it's like whether or not,
what was that?
Yeah, whether or not he was speeding or not, or it's like, I mean, just like, maybe if it was like some high-speed chase going on before then, but probably not.
No, it was
like,
not.
It was just he was speeding, pulled over, got over. Yeah, I mean, I don't know of the exact incident, but like...
what I said, that is the entire incident. He just gets beat up.
Describing it, yes, of course. Like,
but yeah, so now what's interesting, what I thought was interesting when I was watching the report on the news yesterday is that both cops were fired. There are no legal charges going on. They just got fired, so... Yeah, assaulting a man is apparently legal now. But then they, one of the news reporters mentioned that, what was it? One of the police officers said on the police officer that elbowed him in the face to get him to turn around. He said, that's what we're literally trained to do. I've been on the force for 19 years. I was just doing what I was told. And I thought, well, one, why is that a part of your training? If someone doesn't turn around, elbow them in the face? What is that?
No, I mean, of what I know about police and their training, how they go, they have like certain regulations because like being a police officer, it's apparently very, very dangerous. Like,
True.
Even with their families, they have to take a lot of like precautions, even where they leave. They have to like be careful about that. So, I'm not sure exactly what he did, but he might have done something that kind of triggered, because they are trained to react in the instant. Like, you don't
Also
think,
true.
yeah.
Now, from watching the video again, it doesn't start with the police officer elbowing him in the face. It starts with the guy just getting out of the car, his hands are up, and then you can't hear what's being said between them. But no matter what the guy says, unless he says, like, there's a bomb in my car, in which case I would expect the policeman to run away from the car and not beat the guy up.
Well, no, the policeman would probably be meant to go and, like, remove him from the area as well, and then try and assess what the situation. But
that's not what happened. So I don't know what was said.
Yeah,
but he says something, and then he gets elbowed in the face. Yeah, and it's like, okay, what happened?
Yeah, because it's just a tough thing of like, if you were like there and heard everything that was going on, it possibly would have made sense, but just like from a video or whatever, like you're talking about, where you can't hear what's going on and you just see a guy get out of a car, get elbowed, you're like, okay, he shouldn't do that.
Right.
But like you said, like he could have said something like, I'm gonna kill you, or it's just like some thing of like a death threat or something on the cop. Then
Which the cop got fired,
likely.
And he did not say that the man threatened him in any ways. He just said this was a part of the training. He wouldn't turn around. Training says elbow him in the face to stun him long enough to turn him around. I'm thinking, why are you arresting him in the first place? He just sped. Give him a ticket. Let him go.
And that's also the other thing of, you don't know, like maybe this guy was some sort of wanted criminal.
He was
like,
not.
They found him. I mean, yeah, it's like,
he got out of the hospital because, again, one of the cops stomped on his face and broke his nose, so he got out of the hospital. He's giving a report, and they're like, he has no criminal history. He was just going to work. We don't know why this happened. He was speeding. That was it.
Yeah, so...
Now, from the perspective of the police, however, how is he supposed to know that while he is, I don't know, chasing the guy?
Well, usually they have like computer systems and stuff.
Yeah.
While they're chasing the guy, they can input the license plate number, figure out
That's
whose
why they
car
always
it is,
ask.
and they can...
That's why it always takes 10 minutes to get a speeding ticket, because they're going back to their car and they're like, okay, are you a criminal?
Yeah, once
no?
they once
fine.
they pull you over, they go and check the license plate to figure out if they should be doing anything different or find out some little thing about you, so they can come up and start talking to you.
I have an uncle, or a grand uncle. Anyways, his name is Uncle Bobby. Uncle Bobby is one of the most fascinating characters that you have never met. He was a police officer for most of his life. And so my dad and I came up to New York once to go to a fencing competition, and Uncle Bobby is going to drive us around. So we're driving around the city of, we were near Harlem, and we get pulled over by a police officer. Police officer comes up to Uncle Bobby hands him a card, and the police officer just looks at it and says, all right, sir, have a good day. And Uncle Bobby speeds off again. I was like, Uncle Bobby, what was that? And he said, I just told him I used to be a cop, and he let me go. I always do that. It's like, that's amazing. First of all, that he didn't even go back to check if it was real. He just accepted it and then moved on with his life. But yeah, we need different cops. I don't want to say I don't mean to say we need to replace just all of the cops. All the cops are garbage. I mean we need more specific cops. We need an entire precinct whose only job it is to take care of traffic. That's your entire life. Because I'm thinking about being a police officer.
Sections of precincts work on that, certain teams that work on just crime or just murder, homicides,
right?
Just traffic violate or whatever.
But then there's again, from my Uncle Bobby's stories as working on the force, there are days where he'd come in and he was told, okay, you need to go be a bodyguard at a concert. Okay, sure. And then the next day he comes in, they say, okay, you're doing traffic today. And he says, okay, sure. Okay, today we need you to go look at this case. There's a robbery going on. Okay, sure. And it's like, why are you asking him to do 10,000 different jobs from day to day? That doesn't make any sense. No other job does that. As an engineer, I don't come in and someone tells me, okay, Wesley, today you need to figure out how to solve cancer. Sure. And I do that. And then the next day I come in and they say, we need you to make a children's toy. Those two don't fit. Not at all.
I mean, but how specific is crime?
So I guess you would need an active crime case, an active crime. So there's a crime in progress. That's your job. You deal with crimes in progress. And then there's, Keith was saying, a homicide department. So if there has been a murder, your job is to go take care of that. Then I definitely traffic, because traffic is just doesn't go away. I don't even drive.
And it will never.
It won't. I mean, if we get the Hyperloop going, do you guys know about the Hyperloop?
It sounds familiar, but you have to refresh me on what exactly.
The Hyperloop is one of Elon Musk's dreams, so you know it's good. And it's basically an air pressure, high speed public transport train.
Yeah, I remember hearing stuff about that. I remember doing some research on that once.
He made it. He made the idea, and then I guess he patented it or something. But then he said no, I want anybody who can figure out how to make this work. You can have it.
Yeah, because he was I have money. Just whoever can do this, I will pay you for this.
Right. So right now there's a team in Arizona or something, and they've gotten pretty close. They have a prototype that can hit 700 miles per hour, which is I think the fastest train in the world.
Probably.
So I think So one of the goals is basically you would be able to go from
coast to coast in half an hour or something.
I think an hour and a half. Coast to coast in an hour and a half, which that's shorter than a movie. You could not watch a summer blockbuster movie in the time it takes you to go from New York to Los Angeles. That ever becomes real. That's just be fit. And it's supposed to be super cheap because you build it once and then it runs off of solar energy and air.
Yeah, that was also, I remember seeing a thing once of solar roads or something, but that was kind of one of these things that it was kind of to the point of like it would probably work, but there's a lot of stuff of they're worried about like wear and tear on it and stuff and all that.
Oh yeah, the solar panels over behind the field, or they have the baseball team has hit so many balls over the fence that those solar panels are just getting smashed to bits.
Yeah, several of the solar panels have holes.
One of them is broken in half.
Yeah, a lot of them. I've seen a ball hit a solar panel.
Oh my god. So what would you guys do? What do you think would be the future of transportation? Is it the Hyperloop? Is it self-driving cars? Is it jetpacks? What future do you think would be both the best and the most fun?
My only problem with self-driving cars is like if we were to go to that, we'd need like a full flip of like going from manual to self-driving car. Because
we would need all cars to be self-driving.
All cars would have to be self-driving, or at least like 95% or something.
I'd say 100.
It's like basically all cars have to be self-driving because obviously like AI can like predict and stuff, some weird things,
right.
But like if some person is swerving into your lane because of like a deer or something, the self-driving car might not necessarily see it fast and be able to react fast enough to like swerve or speed up or whatever it is.
But if every car is then you got cars talking to each other and it's basically just a computer program saying, okay, this car needs to go here, stop these cars, move car here, now go.
Yeah, or at like stops or whatever. It's like this car was first, so this car goes, this car waits, then this car goes, like all that kind of stuff.
And it would just be so efficient. Like you'd be able to get in your car in the morning.
Be so much more, and like, can you imagine self-driving cars merging as opposed to actual people merging?
Because there's no more guesswork. You don't have cars all of a sudden slowing down and coming to a stop in the middle of an intersection, and you're like, why? Why did you stop?
Yeah, and you're not having merging where it's like 4 cars from one lane are going before the next car goes. It would just be like 1 and 1, like all the way down, and it would be like a nice smooth like merge onto the highway and everything.
You would have no more of those mysterious traffic stops where all of the cars in the entire lane just comes to a complete halt. And then you're like, why? Why are we stopped? And you get up, and then you get up to like where the point started, and then all of a sudden it just clears up and it's gone. And you're like, what was that? Why did we all just stop? That would be one of the best things I would want is if cars could talk to each other. I'd love if I'm stuck on a highway and we just all come to a complete stop, bumper to bumper traffic. I'd love to be able to hit a button and someone tell me, this is why you have stopped moving. And then they show me a car in the far front who's going like 20 miles an hour. Yeah. I'd be like, I hate that guy.
Like pulled over on the side that like with like hazards on. You're like, all right, so people are slowing up because they have to kind of get around him, and people don't notice. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, May, what would your transportation be?
With that, though, would there still be traffic in a world with?
No, there actually wouldn't be. 100% no.
Like, I feel like there would have to be at least some, not like super traffic like we're talking now, but like it wouldn't be like you would just go straight through to places. There would still be a large volume of cars that would have to go through a certain like area, so it would still slow up to get everyone where they need to be, because people coming on have to get like all the way over, and people over here have to get off on exits, and like
so there would be traffic, but it's not like it would bother you.
Yeah,
it would be so much. It would be so far efficient that you wouldn't really call it traffic anymore. You'd just be saying, okay, it just takes me this long to get places.
Yeah, and so like it would just,
every single time I go,
it would be like slowly rolling through areas or something. Sometimes maybe like 10 miles an hour going through a certain area, so like everyone can kind of merge and switch off and everything. But like
you would actually have like
probably wouldn't be a lot of
99% accurate estimated time of arrivals, because you would say I'm going to get in the car and leave at this time, and I'm going to this place on this route. How long will it take? The car will go, okay, there are these cars and blah blah blah, and they're here, and this is going this fast. It will take you this long. Okay, it will take you exactly 33 minutes and 38 seconds. It's like, got it. But yeah, so self-driving cars. Looking forward to that becoming a thing. Probably not. We need to get rid of all the old people first.
Because it's just the thing of to do that, you'd almost need to do a full switch over, because they would probably be predicting mostly good drivers. I mean, I don't know exactly of the specifics of how they're doing it or what's going on. So like maybe they can predict some like erratic behavior, but like not all, obviously.
I mean, right now, I think BMW, Tesla, and Google a little bit. They've been slowing down with their self-driving stuff. I think they're just letting Tesla take over. But their cars, there's been one accident with a self-driving car. No, sorry. There have been... No, that's right. There's been one accident with a self-driving car when the self-driving car was actually driving itself.
Was at fault.
And that was a freak accident it was a Tesla. It was going up a hill towards the sun, and there was a white truck in front of it. And it couldn't tell the difference between the sun and the white truck.
Rear-ended the
so
truck.
It just ran right into the truck. And that happened once. Tesla's stock went up in value, which I thought was hilarious. Their car injured a man, and their stock prices went up. People wanted to buy more of it. I was like, what? It's the weirdest case in history, I think. So, yeah, that was one freak accident, and then Tesla immediately fixed the problem. So... They're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, see, that honestly, that would be pretty cool, because, like, in general, it's like I drive around, like, sometimes, but I don't drive a lot, and I don't necessarily enjoy driving just, like, on its own. Like,
I hate driving.
I wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go for a drive. Like,
yeah, David
I drive
would.
to go to places. Like, to go from point A to point B, I will drive there if it's far enough.
I'll ride around on my bike, because then you get like to feel the wind and the sun, and yeah, it's nice. So self-driving cars, what else is there?
How about regressing, like going back to like you mentioned, like bikes or more? I don't know.
Bikes are great.
They don't take as much space.
That is true.
Well, for like city traffic and stuff, there's a lot more bikes in general. But for like longer,
like short commutes, bikes are just wonderful.
But for like longer trips and stuff, like you wouldn't want to like go cross country on a bike.
I mean, I would, but
it would take you a long time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. For short commutes though, there's nothing better than being on an electric bike. So I'm in the street, right? This was, I think, 2 days ago. I'm in the street. I'm driving down towards Observer Highway, so towards First Street.
Yeah.
And I'm just driving along on my bike, and then all the cars are getting stopped at a red light. And I was like, all right, turned, got to the side, drove past all of the cars. and then I got to the red light, and I was like, oh, wait, I'm just going to become a pedestrian for a second. Hopped on the sidewalk. Illegally crossed the street,
jaywalked, walking your bike, and then
got back in the street and kept going. I was like, "This is the best thing ever." I got off, so I started. So the cars came to a stop around 4th Street, and I went all the way to Observer Highway before the car like even started moving. And I was like, "This is fantastic."
Like, traffic, no thanks. I'm gonna go around.
There's no such thing as a one-way street on a bike. It's like, oh, this is one way. Well, let me just get on the sidewalk. Now I can go down it.
I can just walk my bike, and it's fine.
If the path is technically, legally speaking, you're not supposed to, you're only in the road. Your bike is supposed to go the same way as a car would.
Yes.
So
supposed to obey traffic laws like any car would.
Right.
Or motorcycle.
But I've noticed that some people, if like the road is wide enough, they'll go the opposite direction, which is annoying when I'm going the correct direction on a bike, and then someone else on a bike is coming at me, and I'm like, "This is what? What are you doing, man?"
And then there are other times where there's the really skinny roads with cars parked on either side, and then someone's going up like the wrong way on like a longboard or something, and you're like,
"What's wrong with you?"
Like, you're just gonna be like slowing up traffic if someone's coming down the road.
Yeah. Like technically it's safer because you can see the cars, but it's also just inconvenient. Just don't do it.
Yeah, that's like because like,
just go over one block.
You're supposed to walk at traffic,
right?
So you can see them, they can see you. But with bikes and stuff, you go with traffic.
Yeah. So bikes should definitely electric bikes should definitely become more of a thing. They need to be cheaper though. They're way too expensive. They're
because that's the thing. It's like even on an electric bike, you could do somewhat longer trips, but like the battery life.
Now,
how bad is the battery? Like,
so you can get a really good battery and a really good motor, and you could go like 30 miles, 30, 40 miles with a $2,000-some bike. And then, of course, the batteries cost about $100, $200. So if you get 3 batteries, right, and then you charge all 3 of them
out
then you got 60 miles.
So yeah, it's not horrible, but like...
if you somehow get a generator and you put that on the bike as well so you can recharge a battery while you're driving, which some bikes do.
Get like a kinetic generator or something. That would be sweet.
Basically turn your bike into an electric car with 2 tires. You just have a battery constantly charging and discharging itself. Oh, wait, that's a car. It's an electric car.
Oh, wait, they already did that.
I really want to do it to my bike and just turn it into an electric car, except smaller and cheaper. Like, I feel like I could do it for about maybe under $3,000. I feel like I could work.
Like another $3,000 extra or total? Okay.
That'd be getting a casing to make sure that all the electric components are safe, more batteries and a better motor, and then
some sort of generator, like solar.
Yeah, so all of that, some more surface area on the bike, and then I would change the seat so that I'm sitting down like in a car. Basically, just turn it into a car.
Turn it into a motorcycle.
Yeah, turn it into an electric motorcycle, basically, yes. I have wanted... I'm thinking if I have enough money one day, which I should eventually, maybe, hopefully. Anyways, I would get another one of the Saunders bikes that I have. This is not a plug. We're not sponsored. Yeah, I wish we were, though.
That's the bike that you have?
That's the bike I have. I would get the thin version, and then there's this other Kickstarter project that made just the front wheel. So it's this thing where it's just the front wheel is its own electric motor with its own battery. So the idea is that you get the wheel and then you put that on any bike and it'll be an electric bike now, right? And then it just pops on, pops off super easy, right? So I thought if I get the thin version with the motor and the battery in the back, and then I get this one with the front wheel,
so you make both
2-wheel drive, just...
That could be kind of scary, but yeah.
Oh, when I first got the bike, I got a little speed crazy. I went too fast on a turn and I threw myself off the bike, completely demolished the front axle. So, that's why I don't drive cars.
You drove by me the first night you got it, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. I drove everywhere the first night I got it.
You're like, hey, come downstairs. Like, come see this. And I was like, okay. And I walked down and he just like flew by on his bike and I was like, okay, I guess his bike came in.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. So
right after you moved onto campus.
Exactly. Well, now I'm off campus again, so that's useful.
You will, yeah.
So that's good. So basically electric vehicles is where we need to go.
That's where it's been going. So, yeah, it's like that's the next logical step of being able to charge it with electricity and then be able to recharge it as you're driving it so it can go longer and longer.
Right. That doesn't make any sense.
Does a lot of it? No, a lot of it does.
I mean, a lot of it makes sense.
At least to you.
I was reading through one of them yesterday, and I looked at a line. I don't remember what it's... Oh, no. It said, sometimes the right answer isn't true. And I just was like, what? Why is this here?
Philosophical.
What does that mean? Sometimes the right answer isn't true. It's like, I'm pretty sure I know what I meant, but I don't know if I know what I meant.
It's true, though.
Keith is read them out. Yeah, Keith is reading this sign.
The sign in the studio here, it says the Jackson 5 questions to ask if you want to skip class. 1, do you have a test or quiz? 2, do you have homework due? 3, do they take attendance? 4, are they handing anything back? 5, is the class fun? And then under it says, if you answered yeet to any of these, you should go. Otherwise, what are you doing? And then, it says you should go, and there's an asterisk, and then at the bottom, the asterisk says probably.
That's pretty much the questions I asked. Do you guys skip class often, or do you just sometimes miss one?
I basically ask those questions sometimes. Like, I usually do go, but like on the like sometimes I'll like really not feel like going, and then I'll do the Jackson 5 basically of like, so there's not supposed to be a quiz today. I don't need to be that. They don't take attendance. Nope. and then once you start asking yourself those questions, you're basically like, I'm not going to go anyway. So
right.
Once you start questioning like if you should go, you're not going to go.
Right.
At least for me, that's how it works.
That's how it works for me now. It wasn't always like that. I used to have a thing
unless
that
it's like
forced me to get up and go to classes. It was not fun.
Have it.
You still have it?
I still have it.
You can get rid of it through medication.
What?
No, if I miss a class, even if it's for a good reason, I still have that voice in the back of my head.
Oh yeah. Trust me.
Should have gone.
Just get some Prozac. It goes away. It's easy. Just go up to the 7th floor of Howell. Just tell them like, hey, I got a voice in the back of my head that makes me be studious. I don't like it. And then they'll be like, here you go. Here's some Prozac. Take it for 2 months.
Or just say you have voices in your head and they'll probably give you something.
Well, you'd have to go through an evaluation and they talk to you for a couple of weeks and blah, 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 blah. But end goal is you get some Prozac and it goes away. It turns out I did some research because I have to. What, do you hear the helicopter?
I can't tell if I can hear it in the headphones or not, but...
It doesn't matter. It's noise. I did some research because I love doing psychological research. And that voice is either a heavily conditioned hyper morality, or it's a form of obsessive compulsive disorder. It's more likely to OCD. So the way you can tell the difference is with OCD is if the compulsion or obsession is making you uncomfortable or causing you stress, then it's OCD. If you're fine with it, for example, I know people that like having that voice in the back of their head that tells them what the right thing to do is, and then they do it. And so they're like, that's not OCD then. It's just, you just like being told what the correct thing to do is.
Like, oh, thank you.
It's like,
thank you.
Should I go to class today? Yes. Okay. And then you get up and go to class. I hated it because I hated it so often. People would, you know what really got on my nerves is when people would go up to me and say, Wesley, you're so studious. You're such a good student. And I'm like, I don't want to be, though. I hate this. This sucks. And it always made me feel bad because people would be complimenting me. And I'm like, trust me, if I had a choice, I wouldn't do this. So, yeah. Prozac just goes away. Well,
it doesn't.
I mean, it goes away. It gets to the point to where you can actually ignore it, and then once you ignore it enough, then it actually goes away. Because that's cognitive behavioral therapy with a little bit of medication. Woohoo! Psych terms. So I just flipped off of the scenario that I found. Okay, you guys ready for this one?
God,
this is a fun one. All right. So here's the scenario: you're magically teleported to a mysterious world. 1. You get 2 items that you would usually have with you. So like items from your dorm or items from your house or from your car. So you get to pick 2 items that they come with you. What is your first move? What are those 2 items? And what is the first thing that you do in this magical, mysterious world? Oh, they're deep in thought.
I'm trying to think of like some sort of survival tool that I would have. I'm trying to like visualize what I have in like my desk drawer and stuff.
Are you gonna go for? Are you gonna say I'm gonna bring my my giant jug of water or?
Yeah, like I would probably bring a water bottle and some sort of weapon, and then try and find water when I get there.
All right. May, what are you going for? What are your 2 items?
I was thinking my roller skates and maybe a jacket.
Interesting. Roller skates. The jacket makes sense. I'm trying to get over the roller skates part. Why roller skates?
Because 1, it's a great way to just go around. It's fun.
What if there's not like hard, like flat ground to like go.
Oh.
What if you're like on a beach and you just have roller skates? What do you do?
I just go barefoot.
You get your shoes, so you have normal shoes too, so you can wear your shoes. Roller skates. And now, what's interesting is
that's probably the first time I've heard that one. Question.
What's interesting is you're the first female that I've asked this question to because I don't talk to girls, and you are also the first one to not bring some form of a weapon. Which is kind of interesting. Yeah. I brought two. I brought a sword and a gun.
No, I would probably bring some sort of like bat or like something that could hold water and also possibly something else for another, and then some sort of weapon. I can't think of kind of weapon-like thing do I have just around.
The best kind of weapon is something that you can use to cut things with.
Yeah, so you're able to like skin things or like remove like the meat and goods.
Like cut wood, stuff like that. I brought a sword because that's the only type of blade that I own. I don't own an axe yet. So carbon steel sword.
Like there's a bunch of like tools and stuff in my garage at home, but like
Rick, who's not here with us right now, I think he brought
sounds every time you say that he's not with us. No, he is at home. Hi, yes. Rick, if you're listening to this, you probably aren't.
I mean, he might listen to it later. Speaking of which, Friends on the Other Side is over 70 views now. I don't get. Oh, we have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I remember that.
And one of the videos, I made a remix of a song from the Princess and the Frog Disney movie, the villain song "Friends on the Other Side." And I just put it up there. And it is our most viewed video for some reason.
Yeah, like songs and stuff are usually pretty easy to get up there.
So that's the basketball one is our second favorite or second most watched. I wonder why.
We've told so many people about it. Like you need to hear this.
You need to hear this crazy guy go off on how basketball is not a sport.
Let's not get back into that.
We're not going to get back into that. Okay, so May has a jacket and some roller skates. Keith has, you want to say like a baseball bat, golf club?
Yeah, I mean, like I have stuff in my closet. So, like if I could take stuff from my garage, I'd probably grab like an axe or something from the garage.
Okay, so Keith has an axe and
like a water bottle or some sort of like water skin or I don't know, something.
Some form of water container.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a bigger jug because I have big like water jugs.
Okay,
at home,
so Keith has a big old water jug and an axe. I have a sword made out of carbon steel and a high power air rifle. Not an airsoft, it's a pellet gun. I can kill animals with it. From long ways away. It's a sniper rifle. So that's what I've got with me. Okay, so we have magically gone into this world. Do you guys want to be together or do you want to be alone? I feel like it would be better together.
Sure.
This is like a D&D campaign.
Yeah, like what's happening? I didn't think we were like going through this whole thing. We were just answering the...
Now I really want to make this a D&D campaign. You get two items from real life. It's you. It's not some magical character. It's just you. Deal with it. You get your own skills and whatever and your own knowledge. So we're in this magical world. What do you guys want? What is the first thing that you would do? Let's assume that you're by yourselves now. You're by yourself.
Find water.
Put on my roller skates and explore around.
I'm sorry. These roller skates are just getting me.
I'm just trying to imagine her trying to roller skate down a beach and just like shuffling through the sand on a beach.
You'll see how useful they come.
So here's a follow-up question. What I just say magical world, and I'm actually curious about this. Where are you? When you're imagining yourself, you've been teleported into a magical world. Where are you exactly? Like, what's your environment? Are you on the beach, like Keith is saying? Are you in the woods? Are you in like are you in like the Arctic? Or are you in a city? Some sort of weird magical town? Or like, because whenever I imagine it, I'm always in a forest. I don't know why. I don't know what that says.
Yeah, some like deserted island or something is what comes to my mind.
Okay, so Keith is on a desert. He's going Castaway style.
Kind of, yeah.
May, where are you?
I'm sort of near the beach. Near the beach, There's a long highway. There's a city behind me. And
there's a road that you can roller skate down.
So May's in California. That's her magical land.
And she's
it's a magical place.
She's just outside of it.
She's just outside of all of California,
or some big city.
Let's say she's in the city of Angels. That sounds magical.
She's just outside of Los Angeles.
There you go.
Roller skating down the highway.
She's got magically teleported to Los Angeles. She's like, woo, this is great.
This is fine.
I'm in some sort of forest. The first thing I do is I find something that's alive and I try to kill it. Because from my perspective, you get teleported to a magical world, that's it. Don't try to get back. Don't worry about where you are. You don't need to try and survive yet. Just become a supervillain.
Just kill something. just start killing things.
Just take over the world at that point. You did it. Something wonderful's happening to you. Just grow with it. So yeah. Now I really need to make this a D&D campaign, which I've never played. So I don't know how the game actually works.
I haven't played like super serious D&D, but I've done D&D a couple times.
It would not be serious. I kind of want to do this now.
I would kind of like to do like an actual serious D&D and stuff. I'm pretty sure they do it at the lands and stuff, don't they?
Probably.
They at least do magic. Probably at like the epics, at least they do D&D campaigns.
Yeah. But now I really do want to like explore this world of it's actually you. It's not your character or whatever. And you just get 2 real world items. Magical world. What are you gonna do? It's like, yeah, okay. How to erase deeply rooted anger in Black culture.
Oh.
Here we go. Here's a podcast topic which
there you go.
Doesn't really work with our female co-star.
Why not? It's just
God.
Because like you already have them. So, anyways.
Oh God.
Like it doesn't really apply to you. I'm so sorry. I don't prepare topics ahead of time. They're just in this book. So the question is, Keith.
God, I'm not looking forward to this already.
What would you do if you woke up tomorrow and you had female breast?
I 100% knew this was coming, and I still couldn't come up with anything in time.
I don't. Every man has breasts.
Oh, no, that's why I specified female. Because I asked one guy the question. I think I asked Rick. I said, "What would you do if you woke up in the morning and had breasts?" And he said, "I don't know, touch myself." And I was like, "Well, you could do that tomorrow, anyways, because you have them." But yeah, specifically female, which means there's like extra fatty tissue, I think.
Yes, and other structures.
And other stuff. we have our expert,
our resident scientist. Other stuff.
on what's in a person? You know, there's some bones and some
other stuff.
But Keith, what are you doing?
I mean, yeah, I hate to be that like stereotypical guy and come up with the same answer that Rick did, but. Yes, like the first thing I would do would be touch them. Like,
I mean, I feel like
in general that's just like
yeah.
It's like you wake up and you're like, oh, what the hell is it? I'm just like, oh, okay.
You need to like get to know them.
Exactly. You got.
I've heard that's what little kids do. They touch themselves when they're little to get familiar with their bodies.
Oh, I did it. Like, I did it because I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. I was 3, and it wouldn't stop unless I touched it. And I was like, okay. What? It didn't happen to you at 3? I'm just kidding. I know that's not normal.
I don't remember stuff from when I was 3. Really,
that's the only thing I remember from 3. Because it did not require any form of language.
I remember like I can't like think of anything off the top of my head, but like every once in a while I'll remember random times when like I was super young, and just some random thing of I remember saying this or like knocking something. I just like would remember like knocking something over or something. Just like sure.
It's interesting because so the rolling the like ongoing accepted theory with language and memories and stuff is basically that you use language to encode your memories. So before around age 3 or 4, you haven't fully developed whatever nationality language you have. So even though your brain has been making memories, now that you're older, you can't think of what they are. Like, they're in your head, you just can't actually remember them.
Yeah, because it's just you didn't know how to describe them at the time. It was just like, this happened.
No, even you did describe them. You described them with a language you no longer remember.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't re-describe them because memories are just a recreation of stimuli. They're not, like, actually, like, videos that you watch. And that's how people, like, think of them, which is interesting. But anyways, memories are really cool. I saw one theory that said that all of the memories that you have before you like remake your own language or whatever is those are the dreams that you have, and that's why they're so vague and weird and mysterious. It's like,
Could be.
There's a lot of theories about dreams. Why do you guys think we dream? And / what do you think dreams are about?
God,
this is a great segue from the previous question.
Totally relevant.
I mean, isn't there the theory saying that dreams are just helping us consolidate memories, whatever was learned throughout the day or days?
There's a lot of stuff about dreams, but nobody knows what it is.
It depends on like your state of mind and stuff too. Like when you're going to bed, like if you're if you're like really actively like thinking about something, you'll stay on like that, and you'll keep like dreaming. Like if you're watching a TV show or something before you go to bed, and you're watching for a while or something, and then when you go to bed and you're like thinking about it, and then like you're just like part of the TV show, like in your dream, it's just like still going. You're continuing on like what was going on in your mind before you went to bed.
So along that idea, when you guys have a dream and then you wake up and you remember like what was happening in the dream, and you're like, okay, this was a dream, this is what happened, what the heck did that mean? Have you guys ever tried to figure out like the meaning behind the weird dreams that you've had?
I can remember a couple really weird ones.
Oh, I had one last night. It's so weird, I can't tell you what it was. It involved a very large black man and Jeff from the show Community.
Okay.
Now see, here's the thing. I always wonder this. When people show up in your dreams and you can't figure out who they are. So like if I have a dream and like my family is in it, then I wake up and I'm like, okay, my sister or whatever, or like my teammate or blah, 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 my friend. But then like, for example, this big black guy, I don't know who he is. I don't know why he was in my head.
You just like make random like faces that you think would like fit on like these bodies or something.
Right?
But, like, yeah.
But then like, did he actually exist? Did I just see him and my brain was just like, grab?
You've possibly seen some like big black, like some on like some,
I mean, I have seen big black guys.
Yeah,
but
well, like it's a thing. Yeah, it's like subconsciously, like you've seen it. So when you like your dream is coming up with this, there's going to be a big black guy here. It's like, oh like, yeah, I remember.
Open up the folder, big black guys. Okay.
What do their faces look like? Which one fits the best? This one. And
there we go.
He turns around and he has that face, and it's like, oh, okay.
All right.
You could go all existentialist and say that maybe some like part of you that you're seeing.
Oh, I see. I would like to think that, but I have never thought of myself as big ever, which is a whole other problem. But nice thought. Thank you for telling me that I could imagine myself as being large. But yeah, meaning of dreams, man, they're fancy. May, what's a weird dream you've had? Right off the bat, go.
Right off the bat, the first thing that comes to mind is like a nightmare that I used to have when I was little. It was a weird nightmare.
All right.
I was stuck in a mansion and filled with people. So you know how Scooby-Doo, how sometimes you have like a group of people and they would just like, I think like run around.
Yeah.
I was there with that group of people, and we were hiding because of the clown, the Ronald McDonald clown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ronald McDonald, yeah.
So Ronald McDonald is chasing you through a mansion?
Yeah, although he was outside, we couldn't see him. We're
Oh, sounds like a horror movie.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder how many horror movies are like actually just someone had a nightmare and they're like, write that down really fast.
Probably.
Like Paranormal Activity, was there someone who just had nightmares every night that cupboards were moving? And they're like, let's make a film about this. And then let's make 8 more. How many are there?
I don't know. There's a lot.
Fun fact about the Saw movies. Apparently, they actually planned the movies out from the very beginning. They weren't... So, like the first movie came out, it was actually like somewhat decent. It had a good twist. But then
I
like...
haven't seen them, but my friend has seen all of them. So.
I think there's 8 or 9 of them.
Or at least he's seen like most of the originals, like maybe not the newer ones. But.
Right. But yeah, so in the first one, there's this character that shows up and then he disappears and then you don't see what happens to him for like another 4 or 5 movies. And then in like the random like 5th or 6th movie, he shows up again and you find out where he went. And it's like, oh, and it fits into the entire storyline of all the other movies. Yeah. And it's like, did they plan this 6 movies in advance? That's Marvel level planning. Marvel level. Those guys are insane. Are you guys looking forward to seeing any good movies?